Look, we all felt that collective gut punch when the news broke about EJ Speed. Losing a critical piece of our linebacker depth to a brutal quad injury, keeping him off the field for 5 to 6 months, is a massive blow right as things are heating up. But Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans do not sit on their hands. With OTAs kicking off tomorrow, the front office just made a move to bring back a familiar face. A player who already knows our culture, has worn the battle red, and is ready to fight for his life to make this roster. This is about grit, redemption, and finding guys who refuse to be outworked. Before we break down what this means for our defense, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and help us hit our goal of 3,000 subscribers. Do you think this signing saves our depth? Let me know, and let's go. Toro time! Alright, let's get right into the name you've all been waiting for. The Houston Texans are officially signing free agent linebacker KC Ossai to the 90-man roster. This signing, reported first by Jonathan M. Alexander of the Houston Chronicle, is an absolute feel-good story of perseverance. But make no mistake, it is also a highly calculated football move. Ossai is a massive 6'1", 240-pound hammer of a linebacker who isn't a stranger to H-Town. If you remember last offseason, he was originally picked up by the Texans as an undrafted free agent. He fought like crazy through training camp, but unfortunately found himself on the wrong side of the roster cuts before the 2025 campaign got underway. From there, his journey became a true NFL grind. He spent time on the Miami Dolphins practice squad at the end of last season, signed a futures contract there, but was let go earlier this May. Now with EJ. Speed sidelined for nearly half a year, the universe has opened a massive second door for Ossai right back where his professional career started. He is coming home to Houston with a golden opportunity to earn some serious traction in a linebacker room that suddenly needs his physical presence. Think about the mental toughness it takes to ride that emotional roller coaster. To be cut, to travel across the country, to wait by the phone, and then to get the call from the exact team that let you go, right before OTAs. That is the ultimate test of a player's resolve, and Ossai is stepping right back into the fire ready to prove he belongs. And here is where the story gets really interesting. This isn't just a random body brought in to fill a roster spot for camp. Nick Caserio has had a genuine documented affinity for KC Ossai since the moment he first arrived in Houston. Last offseason, Caserio actually went on Texans radio and singled out Ossai's work ethic, calling him out as one of the most diligent players in the entire building. Think about that for a second. In an NFL facility filled with elite athletes, Caserio said Ossai's mindset and consistency were as good as anybody's. Every single night, long after practice had wrapped and most guys had headed home, Ossai was upstairs in the coaching offices, picking the brain of special teams coordinator Frank Ross, preparing for the next phase. That is the exact type of DNA DeMeco Ryans wants in this building. It's that relentless, lunch pail mentality that defines the modern Texans. Now, transition that cinematic grind to the present moment. Ossai is walking back into a locker room where he knows the coaches, knows the expectations, and knows exactly what it takes to catch the staff's eye. But the road ahead is anything but easy. The linebacker room he is re-entering is vastly different and much more crowded than the one he left. The competition is going to be fierce, and every single rep during OTAs is going to feel like a playoff snap for him. He has to prove that his year away made him sharper, faster, and more prepared to handle the sheer speed of this defense. It is a beautiful, high-stakes drama unfolding right before our eyes as the team hits the practice field this week. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers here because, as an insider, you have to analyze the roster math. Making the final 53-man roster this time around is going to be a mountain of a challenge for Ossai. The Texans didn't just stand pat at linebacker this offseason. They actively infused the room with high-upside talent. During the draft, Houston grabbed two very intriguing prospects on day 3. Clemson's Wade Woodaz and Indiana's Aiden Fisher. Both of those rookies are hungry, athletic, and looking to secure their own footprint on this defense. On top of that, Caserio went out and executed a trade with the New England Patriots to acquire Marte Mapu, a versatile defensive weapon who can fly around the field and play multiple roles. So you have rookies fighting for their lives, a newly traded asset in Mapu, and now Ossai throwing his hat back into the ring. The depth chart is a logjam of hungry defenders. But that is exactly why this signing is so brilliant. It creates an environment of intense competition where nobody can afford to take a day off. Ossai brings an immediate layer of optionality for DeMeco Ryans and defensive coordinator Matt Burke. If the rookies struggle with the playbook, or if Mapu needs time to fully integrate into the system, Ossai is a plug-and-play option who already understands the core concepts of this defense. He gives this team a vital insurance policy during Speed's extended absence, and his special teams value under Frank Ross cannot be overstated. In this league, depth isn't just a luxury. It's the difference between winning in December and watching the playoffs from the couch. This is how championship rosters are built, piece by piece, grind by grind. It is about constant optimization. And Ossai isn't the only new face we need to keep our eyes on as OTAs ramp up later this week. The Texans also secured some intriguing depth on the offensive side of the ball, signing wide receiver jha'quan Jackson. Between Jackson trying to carve out a role in a loaded receiver room and Ossai fighting to reclaim his spot on defense, the storylines heading into Wednesday's practices are absolutely electric. You can feel the energy building in Houston. The standards have changed under DeMeco Ryans. We aren't just looking for guys who can play. We are looking for guys who obsess over the game, guys who live in the film room, and guys who will sell out on special teams just to get a chance to wear the helmet. Ossai checks every single one of those boxes. When you hear a general manager praise a player's consistency and willingness to stay late with the special teams coordinator, you know that player has the soul of a true Texan. He isn't going to back down from the challenge of competing against draft picks or trade acquisitions. If anything, the presence of Woodaz, Fisher, and Mapu will only push Ossai to unlock another level of intensity. This is what football is all about. It's the ultimate meritocracy. The best 11 players will play, the best 53 will make the team, and Casey Ossai is ready to scratch and claw for every single inch of turf. The grind starts now, and the entire city of Houston is watching. At the end of the day, sports are about these incredible human stories of second chances. Casey Ossai was once told he wasn't quite ready for the active roster here. He had to pack his bags, head to Miami, and wonder if his NFL dream was slipping away. But he never stopped working, he never stopped believing, and when injury struck our linebacker room, his name was the first one Nick Caserio thought of. That speaks volumes about the bridges Ossai built during his first stint here. Now, the stage is set for him to write a completely different ending to his Houston story. As fans, this is the kind of dedication we rally behind. We love the superstars, but we absolutely adore the grinders who leave their blood, sweat, and tears on the practice field just for a shot at the 53-man roster. EJ. Speed's injury is a tough obstacle for us to overcome, but seeing a young man like Ossai get another opportunity to fulfill his dream in a Texans uniform is exactly why we love this game. It is about resilience, community, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. As OTAs kick off and the pads eventually come on, you better believe we will be tracking every single tackle, every special team snap, and every film room session. This team is building something special, and every single player on that 90-man roster has a role to play in our journey to the top. Welcome back to Houston, Casey Ossai. Let's get to work, let's build this depth, and let's show the rest of the league what Texans football is truly about.